What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spotlight, man. Let's welcome my special guest from Villanova University, defensive back, Trinh, man. How's it going, bro?
How's it going? How you doing? Everything's good. Can't complain.
I'm doing so well, man. I'm pumped for another draft sleeper, man. We got a diamond in the rough from a very small school, man. So for those people who are not familiar with you, man, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so I graduated from Villanova University. I've played there for 4.5 years due to, COVID. I play safety there, and right now, I'm currently just going through the process of the NFL draft, just trying to prepare for that. So, you know,
Oh,
it's
oh
a
yeah,
pleasure.
oh yeah, for sure, man. But so what got you into football in the early part, man?
Hmm. I just love football as a kid. I mean, I've been playing sports my whole life. My parents put me in football when I was around 8, and I just kind of my love for the game just grew more and more as I continued to play, and obviously I got better at it, and that made me want to like love the game and actually pursue it at a higher level. And I'm really grateful that I was able to do that because football really put me in a position to excel in a lot of opportunities, and I'm just really grateful for all of that. So really, just my parents put me in sports at a young age for football, and then just my love for it kind of just grew over time as I continued to keep playing and growing and developing and getting better at it and excelling in it. So that's what really got me into football.
Oh, that's good. So what was your first position you played?
I played quarterback when I was younger. Just like little pee wee football, just playing quarterback, receiver. I played like corner. So, but when I was growing up, I played more offense than I did defense. So I was playing quarterback for a little bit, and then I switched. I switched to playing defense when I got to like probably middle school. So I started playing corner, and then from there, I just kind of basically I like defense better at that point. I started like really loving that side of the field of football. So I just kind of got to that point, and then when I got to high school, I was playing quarterback a little bit too, receiver, same thing, and then I fully switched over to like corner, and then shoot, I loved it. I mean, corner is hard though. I can't lie to you. It's probably the hardest position on the field, but I
Well,
love playing corner.
it gives you a little bit of an advantage when you face an opposing offense. You can read the quarterback's tendency and what they can do because you used to play quarterback, so it should give you more of the advantage, right?
Yeah, when you get to definitely understand both sides of the ball, you kind of understand what you're getting and like schematic wise or schemes or concepts. You kind of like break it down and recognize it faster. So I'm really playing both sides was definitely beneficial for me as far as my experience, and I'm glad I got to do so because I do understand from both perspectives like what's going on when I'm out there.
Oh yeah, it does give you that understanding. So, coming out of high school, what were the offers like for that high school year?
Hmm. It's crazy. I didn't have any offers coming out of high school. I had like some interest, nothing really crazy though. So it's weird because when my recruitment process, COVID happened. So that kind of well, not right before COVID had happened, and I got my first offer from Villanova. I came to a camp, and I did really well at the camp. The defensive position coach, Coach Ola Adams, ended up giving me the offer the next day, and he was just like, obviously when you get an offer and you post it, then that's when other people start to come and get you and things like that. So I only had one offer. I didn't post it anything like that. I ended up visiting Villanova with my family, and it's just really crazy to think about because I went to Villanova. I got shown around the campus. I met players, coaches, and I liked it. I liked it there at Nova. I really liked the atmosphere that they had. I knew what I was gonna get going to Nova as far as like education. That was a big thing for me. Getting a good degree from a school, and I committed. Like after a few visits there, I committed on the spot with like two other recruits. So it was actually funny. We all committed the same day. Like we sat down in the room, and then we was like, yeah, like I'm 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 ready to commit here. So we all ended up committing.
All it takes is one opportunity to present itself, and you just go with it. And when you
Mm.
think of Villanova, you think of their basketball program is what I think of
Hmm.
mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of great players who come out of Villanova, you think of Howie Long and Brian Westbrook. You know, those
Yeah.
guys paved the way for those guys from Villanova.
Hmm. Yeah.
So growing up, man, who did you really like watching as like a team in general that just you idolize and you wanted to play like?
Yeah. Well, I'm from Baltimore, so I grew up watching the Ravens my whole life, and my favorite player of all time is Ed Reed. Like the Ravens defense, best defense like to ever play the game, in my opinion. They just had a whole bunch of dogs on that side of the field, and I really love the way that Ed Reed played. I mean, every time he freaking intercepted a ball, he was looking to go score, and most times he did score it. So I just love his style of play. Obviously, people misunderstand. Well, I don't even think people want to misunderstand. As well as he freaking picked people off, and he also brought the boom. So I love the Ravens defense. That was my team. Still is my team.
I mean, it's got to be one of those kind of feelings to see them win the Super Bowl under my team's expense. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of Ray Lewis, man. I've always liked his game. I've always liked how
Mm,
he's like more of a coach on the football field. He was more like a outspoken guy.
yeah.
If he didn't like it, man, oh well. He was just gonna speak it like it is. I got to give him his credit for that. Yeah, John Harbaugh's been coaching for so many years, bro. It's like, man, consistency with coaching staffs and all that stuff. And then Lamar Jackson, you just can't go wrong with this team's program. So, like going from the local pro day, from what I'm looking at, man, how was that experience going to that local pro day?
Uh, well, actually, I didn't get the chance to actually go to the local pro day, but I mean, I guess I could talk about my pro day experience because we actually my school doesn't have an indoor facility, so the Eagles let us use their facility. So it was actually kind of one of those crazy experiences where we were able to do the pro day at the Eagles facility and have it run by them. So I tell people all the time, I'm just blessed that I had the chance to even go through that experience and be there at the Eagles, like one of the Eagles facilities to do so.
Okay, well, at least you get be able to showcase all that stuff, and you were like the more savvy kind of vet. Like you said, you've been around college since the COVID years, so you got the most experience out of all the guys coming out of Villanova.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that experience was definitely crucial to my development. If I'm being honest, my first year with COVID happening, when I first got to college, I was just soaking in information, trying to adjust myself from high school to college. Obviously, people were telling me that the college speed is different compared to, high school, and I picked up on that pretty quick. So, being able to really develop the first year and, you know, understand the system that I'm in as far as like the defense, I think that was a big part of my development, and that helped me excel as a player later on. Just being able to have that time to just solely focus on understanding, the play calls and the formations and the sets that I'm seeing. So, and it's crazy because I played corner on defense, but I never played safety. And when I got to college, I got switched from corner to safety. So I've been only playing safety when I got to college.
So it must have been a lot fun to play that position, huh? Since you said you grew up watching Ed Reed and all those other
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to be able to play safety. I love it. I love it. I when people ask me sometimes would I have wanted to play corner, I tell them no. Like I'm glad that I made that switch, and I'm really happy that I ended up playing safety.
Yeah, from the plays that so what was the defensive scheme that you played at Villanova that can translate to the next level for you?
Yeah, so my defensive coordinator at the time, Coach Ola Adams, I mean the playbook was pretty packed, pretty deep. We was running different types of freaking cover three, like roll into cover three. We've played cover four, but not your typical cover four where it's everyone's like in a true zone, more like a man cover four scheme. I know a lot of teams do that in the NFL right now. Obviously we play man. Who doesn't play man nowadays. So we've done a lot as far as schematically showing different things, rolling to it, showing zone to man, man to zone, cover two, different looks of it. You know, so I definitely had to adjust from the playbook because I wasn't seeing those type of things in high school. In high school it was pretty much the basic. Cover four is cover four, cover three is cover three. But when you get to college, those things are different.
Yeah, it's very different. So what NFL teams have met with you, man? Because I mean, you seem to be the most under the radar kind of guy from the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just yeah, I am a little bit under the radar right now, but I'm just looking forward to the opportunity that I'm gonna get. With the just being in Philly, the Eagles, stop by and like have conversation with my coaches here and there. But otherwise than that, really hasn't been too much buzz around like my name and everything. But I don't I don't let that like get to me, if you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I know my film, like what I put on film, and my ability to like really diagnose the game and what I'm seeing on the field. And so hopefully any team that gives me the opportunity to, showcase myself for whatever organization it is, I'm willing to just go in there and do what I got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to let your tape do the talking. For those people who want to know why should those NFL teams draft you, man, you gotta you got a good tape right there. So playing safety, you're already new to the position coming out of college, right? And you're still learning the position at the end of the day.
Yeah. I was able to actually play all three positions in college. So from the versatility standpoint, that's what helps me in a way because I've played nickel in the box. I've played free safety. I played strong safety. So I understand my position and my role at each position. So from that standpoint, whatever team wants to, put me at, I can do it. I can do whatever it is they want me to do from any safety position.
Okay, at least you're kind of proving your versatility, and you can play in the secondary. So outside of football, who are you as a person?
I'm a family man. I mean, I'm all about family, family, friends, all those type of things. But I'm really just a family man outside of football. I just spend time with my dogs. I love my dogs so much. I got an English Mastiff and I got two labs, one gray, one chocolate. So we're a huge dog lovers in my family. We love dogs. So I spend time with my dogs when I can, go for walks, play with them. And then, me and my family like to do things as a family together. We go like bowling. That's like our family type of thing that we do. And I mean, I had like other little things I like to do in my free time, like draw here and there. I like to do that. I'm starting to get into reading books. That's something new. Before, like back then, probably wasn't the typical thing that I would do, but now I like to feed my brain with knowledge and stuff like that nowadays. So I read from time to time, and I like to play the game. Who doesn't like playing the game? Like that's a typical thing that I like to do, just to get my
Yeah,
mind away from things outside of like football and all that. I play the
yeah.
video games, and I just like to enjoy I like the quiet life. Like I like to enjoy my peace and quiet.
You seem like a quiet, humble person, but on the football field, I think you do more of the talking on your plays, man. From the looks of it,
Mm.
what is your favorite workout when it comes to football?
Favorite workout. When I'm lifting, I love leg days. I'm all for leg days. I love squatting. I love doing front squats. Like I like leg days a lot. As far as like lifts, those are my favorite. I can't lie. Those are my favorite.
Oh yeah. So if it had to come down to like from playing safety, what would you prefer? The biggest hit where you kind of make a statement, or you get the pick six and take it to the house if you had to choose one?
I'm taking the pick six. I'm taking the pick six all day. I mean, that's like a controversial question. Some people feel like, the big hit sets the tone, and it makes it where the quarterback doesn't want to throw you the ball. But if you can get the ball and score, you make an impact right there. You're making more of an impact, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
anytime
Can't
the
go wrong
defense
with pick
can,
six.
you
Can't really
can't.
go wrong with pick six because you can end the game right there for them, or you could just set the tone and just intimidate the opposing receiver or anybody who comes in your direction.
Yeah, I'm all for, as a defense, if you can get the ball to the other side, but turn those into points, that's even better. So every time I get the ball or whatever the case may be, most times I'm looking to score and depending on the situation, given the situation. But yeah, I think if you're able to turn those points into like offensive points and get points on the board for your team, I'm all for that.
Yeah, you're built like a miniature linebacker, but you can make the plays, man, at the end of the day. I mean, so from the NFL's perspective, do they look at you as a free safety or more of a strong safety?
I would say more of a free safety. So, but yeah, I do have the size of probably like a little bit, but I move well. So from that standpoint, I can see why they're looking at me more as a free safety, being able to, you know, cover in those big spaces.
Oh yeah, dude. I can see you like in different fits. Like in Baltimore, they might want to use you in certain ways, but in San Francisco,
Mm.
they might look at you as more of the in the box kind of safety, which is kind of
Yeah,
something you're comfortable with. But then free safety is another comfortable position, so that kind of makes you stand out with your versatility right there.
yeah. I think me being so versatile just helps me. It really does help me because whatever the team is looking for, or even if they have to have me adjust to a certain role on the defense, I would be more than happy to do so. And if I had to, let's say for situation, I just have to put on some weight to play in the box or whatever the case may be, I can do that. And then obviously still excel in other things that I'm already good at and
Oh
obviously
yeah.
improve my game more. But those are just things that I feel I bring to an organization or to a team.
Oh yeah, I can see that. That's what's going to be intriguing about it. Like I feel like this draft class, you're going to get some guys who are more experienced, of course, but
Mhm.
I think the COVID year gave you guys a little bit more of an advantage, right?
Yeah, just from a development standpoint, I felt like from COVID, being able to study film, learn, and actually understand what I'm seeing. Because as a safety, you have to be able to understand what you're looking at when you're on the field, whether you're down in the box or whether you're up high. You have to be able to see everything. And, they call us like the quarterback of the defense. We have to be able to get the calls. What am I doing when certain people are moving or motion is happening? So you have to be able to process that information in a blink of an eye like that. And when I first got to college, that was a big adjustment because I wasn't used to having to do that from high school. Having
Yeah.
that year of COVID, I was able to really digest everything for what it was.
So when did you feel the game got slower in college, man?
I would say the game got slower my sophomore transitioning, like mid sophomore year transitioning to my junior year. So my first year as a freshman, everything was just fast. You're trying to pick up on the playbook. You learn new stuff every single day. So everything just feels so fast, and you get on the field, it happens even faster. Then my sophomore year, when I started, like I was starting, you have to be able to digest everything quickly, or you can't be able to play on the field. So my sophomore year, that's when I really got my feet underneath myself and really got comfortable playing at college level football. And then my junior year, everything was just like I've been there before. I understand what's going on. I'm a vet. I'm a vet. It's no more I'm a rookie and nah, I'm gotta, I had to be the one that my teammates are looking to. My teammates are looking towards, to me, and I have to be able to do what I need to do and showcase that, I'm that type of leader for my team. And so that's when things really got slow for me because I felt like at that point I've seen a lot of things. and I know how to handle a lot of situations given the fact if I didn't see this, like see the formation or see something, because every team every week's gonna bring in something new that you just never seen before. But at that point, I've already seen enough to know how to control the game and really be able to process what I'm looking at.
Oh yeah. So how do you prepare for your upcoming games, and how do you study your opponent's tendency? Since you've been around, you got at least the understanding, right?
Mm, every week when we prepare for a game, we get a game plan. My coaches give us a game plan of certain formations, top formations that they do, top pass concepts, and obviously they're key players. And then from what I get from those key players, I watch film on them. That's where I start there. I watch film because every week is a matchup that I have, and so you know, in our defense, we play man a lot, so you got to win your one on ones. And the way I like to go about it is I start watching film of my opponent. I try to see if I can pick up on any tendencies on them. Like, what are they doing? If they running this post or like if they running a deep route, how are they running it? Is there something I could pick up from the way they're running or the way they're like chopping their feet? Whatever the case may be, I try to pick up on little tendencies that I can find within that person, and maybe like, okay, if they're like cut like splits, for example, if their splits cut all the way inside, maybe I'm probably getting the shallow route, or he's just setting me up to take me in to go back out. Those type of things are things I like to think about when I'm watching film of my opponents. And then formation wise, teams always gonna have a go-to play. So if you can understand what that play is, that setting you up for success. So when we prepare for practice, we have like those team periods where they're running those plays and being able to really see the play for what it is and how they might picture it, like picture it up for us, being able to really study the practice film because that's what really gets you ready, and then watching film on your own. So I like to do that, starting with my opponent, then watching games on my opponent, see what they did to other teams because every defense doesn't run the same defense that we run. So I try to watch teams similar to the defense that we run. That way I understand like what they're trying to attack in our defense. And that way that's how I feel like get myself prepared for the game as far as film wise. And then on the field, like practice wise, I try to just picture honestly what I'm gonna get, and I emulate what I'm gonna see in practice to the game, and then I just try to translate that.
All right, yeah. At least you kind of like get the understanding of how you're gonna face your opponents and all that stuff. So we can get on to common sense stuff when it comes to football. There's a lot of stuff that kind of happens out of nowhere. But how do you deal with quitters on the football field? Like it's in the middle of a game. How do you deal with that situation?
Thankfully, I can say I haven't had too many situations really where I had to deal with that, and I think that's a good thing to say about my team's like atmosphere and our culture. Regardless if we're up a lot or down a lot, I think we, no matter what, we're still gonna play the game out as best as we can because that's something that we developed in our culture, not to like quit or anything like that. So thankfully, I haven't had to experience too many things, but dealing with quitters, you got to start with yourself. I always start with myself before anything, before trying to talk about anybody else or anything like that. Start with yourself, see what you're doing, see how you can impact other people by doing what you're doing. And hopefully, I feel like if I'm leading right by example, showing that I'm not quitting, the other people on my team would feel the same way too. I feel like I've earned a lot of respect from my teammates and my coaches. And so if my teammates who, respect me enough to understand like I'm not quitting, then why would they quit? So I think I try to just lead by example. I'm one of those guys that's really just I'm not the most vocal, but I will get on you when I had to. I just really, like I said, I lead by example when I can and let people follow after that. I try to model the right way to do things and have other people follow along. So as far as dealing with quitters, really, you guys, like I said, start with yourself. If you had that thought process, then obviously it's poison. It spreads. So I try not even think like that. I don't try to quit or
Yeah,
nothing, and hopefully people get along with that and they follow
yeah.
behind that.
You can hope for that. Like it just like you said, you rarely get that. So that's just it happens from time to time for some other teams. But you never know. But Under the circumstances, like you said, you're kind of a vocal leader also. So let's say you guys are down by multiple touchdowns going into halftime. What would be the pep talk to get this team to wake up and win this ball game?
So obviously I listen to what my coaches have to say first because they're the ones from the outside looking at everything. And if there's some things we gotta clean up, then we gotta clean up that. But as a DB, I always try to tell guys just have a short term memory. There's gonna be plays where you mess up, you get beat, ball gets caught on you, whatever the case may be. But you gotta have short term memory. You gotta move on to the next play and be able to forget that play, like forget whatever play it is. Because sometimes people, let's say they give up a touchdown or something, now they're all in their head. Like it's okay, like you have to let that go, move on to the next play because then it's just gonna mess you up for the next opportunity for you to make the play and help us on defense. So really, when we get into the locker room, we just start with the things that we need to fix, certain things that we might have saw that we didn't game plan for. We got to discuss that, make sure we get on the same page, and really keeping everybody's spirits up. Don't get distracted. Don't get too low. Don't get too high. Those type of things. And when you like come back out there in the second half, you gotta bring it to them. The game not over. I tell people that the game's not over until the game is over. We still have an opportunity as a defense to go there, make an impact, and make a play. All it takes is one play to shift things. That
Yep.
thing is real in football. That shift between when things are going bad and going good, it can shift really quickly. So you gotta have that next play mentality when you're out there. And I tell my teammates that all the time. Next play mentality, and go make a play. When it's your time to make the play, go make the play. Have the utmost confidence in your preparation, what you prepared to do, and go do it.
Oh yeah. Like it's two more quarters. You either guys won it or not. So it's like we still got one play at a time. So it goes from there, But so as a team leader that kind of goes with something in the sidelines, how you deal with a teammate that just are not on the same page, like they have one bad player too. How do you uplift a teammate or how do you separate a situation?
Uplifting a teammate. Well, one, I don't like to bash people about the bad plays. Like some people might get on you, like, or try to start screaming at people when they like mess up. Some people might need that, some other people don't. But the way I like to approach it is, I just tell them like, go get the next one. I've been in a situation before where I've had like I given up a catch when it could have helped us get off the field or something like that, and or it's a long drive and I could have made a play to get off the field, but I couldn't, and so I just tell, especially like the young guys. That's probably where it's in the most when it's the young guys because they feel like so much pressure is on them. But like I try to let them know like they can lean on me. Like I'm here for you. Like you're gonna be okay. Like don't worry about your mistake. Like this is why we have teammates. We're here for you. When I make a mistake, I've had plenty of teammates help me fix that mistake that I made. Like I was supposed to be probably in this gap, but I wasn't in the gap. And my teammate cleaned it up for me. That's why we have teammates. And so, I just try to tell the young dudes, young guys, even people older guys who make mistakes, like it's okay. Like I got you. We good. Like come on, let's get going. Don't worry about it. Like you're gonna make a play. Like you are going to make a play. Don't like just keep thinking about that, and it's gonna happen. And when the time comes, make the play.
Yeah. The game gets kind of emotional, and sometimes we forget that, hey, man, next series, let's just step up and play the next series, Like it
Mhm.
happens. One play at a time is what my coach would once tell me, man.
Yeah, one play at a time. That's all you can do.
But since you kind of chose the education at Villanova, what kind of can you share us with the higher leader education classes that have helped you on and off the field?
Yeah, so I took a couple of those classes, and I took this one class called Philosophy of Education, and I was learning a lot of things about different authors and how they approach, certain education styles. But I feel like everything I learned in my classes, I implemented into football. And there was another class I called, it was like higher leadership administration or something like that. And basically, I learned a lot of different types of leaderships, and I was able to use what I learned in class on the field or with my teammates. I felt like that helped me a lot because, like I said, I'm not the most vocal, and so, but I understood that people looked up. They did look up to me as a leader. Like I was in a position of leadership for my team, and I had to be a leader for them. So using what I learned in class, obviously leading by example, but being able to, listening was like another thing, part of like leadership. You got to be able to like listen to like your teammates, listen to other people, understand like where they're coming from. So I was just really grateful that I took those classes because regardless if it's life, football, family, friends, all those things can be applied if you use them. And so that was a big thing that I got from those courses, like, understanding, how leadership looks, because leadership looks different in a various of settings. And so, you have to apply it in different ways.
Oh yeah. So like, football's definitely on your priorities, of course, but what's your backup plan? What was your major in college? You hear me? You good? Dude, can't hear you. I was asking a question.
Mm,
What's like your major, like your backup plan?
might be having some connection issues right now.
Oh, okay. Guess he's having some connection issues. He'll jump right back in. We'll get a couple more questions and we'll definitely end on a high note. But yeah, very intriguing guy. He can play any of the spots in the secondary. I think this is a sleeper guy. This is somebody that everybody needs to take their eyes on, man. This guy can play. See if he jumps back in. Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Okay, let's see. Connection should be good. Uh,
Okay, perfect. Sorry. My connection, it kind of went out for a second.
okay, all good, man. So, what's like your backup plan, like your major in college?
Got my undergrad in psychology, and I've been taking courses for my master's certificate in higher leadership education. And right now, as far as like my backup plan, I have some things, that I've thought about, but right now I've really been trying to focus everything that I can on football because I understand that this opportunity that I have right now is very rare, and I just want to be able to say at the end of the day that I gave it everything I got. I poured in everything that I could, but at the same time, I understand, football isn't long. Like football isn't forever. So I tell people that too. And outside of that, I'm glad I got my undergrad at Villanova and I was able to get my degree. And so I've been thinking about outside of just football, doing some business things, or even I've been thinking about like technology firm, and with my psychology background, it's kind of crazy because I can do so many things with my psychology degree just because you can apply it to anything really, whatever it is that you want to do. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure football is the priority, of course, but it's always good to get ahead. You never know. You always want to have that in place. But I'm
yeah.
just from the way you tackle in space, man. Just from watching your film, man, like you're just in good position to make those hits, man, or making plays. Like those tackles you make are very clean. But how do you like master that kind of plays? Like you make it look effortless.
Hmm. First, it starts with reading your keys. That's really the reason why I'm in those positions to make those tackles is because I'm reading my keys. And if you're able to read your keys, it's gonna put you in a position where you need to be to make the play. And another thing is you just can't be scared. I'm not scared of nobody when I'm going to tackle. Like, no matter if you're running like those huge running backs, receiver, quarterback, tight ends, doesn't matter who you are. You gotta have that mentality that you're not scared of nobody when you're tackling. Because if you're scared to tackle, you're not gonna even. Let's start there. If you're scared to tackle, you're not gonna make the tackle at all to even begin with. So
That's true.
you got to be fearless when you're really tackling people, regardless, and really just be willing to just put your body on the line. Like, it's football, that's what we do. And
Yeah.
so I start by reading my keys, and that's what's really setting me up for success. If I see a down block and I'm supposed to fit off outside, boom, I fit off outside, and I'm in the position to make that tackle. You know, Obviously, your coaches probably coach you up on how you're supposed to tackle, like same foot, same shoulder, wrap up, run your feet, those type of things. So, obviously you're gonna keep improving on those things when you can. But that's really how it is. I try to like, track the hip, those type of things, wrap and roll. I think some people feel as if you gotta go for the kill shot every time we play defense, or especially for me, my position, I play safety. At the end of the day, like my job is to get the person down, get them to the ground. Sometimes you don't need to go for the kill shot, and you just gotta be able to just whatever it takes just to get them to the ground.
Yeah, gotta play it smart too. And sometimes you don't want to take the kill shot because sometimes that kill shot they can just break that tackle out of nowhere and make it look. It can be like one of those type of situations. But what's the most valuable lesson you learned as a DB, man?
The most valuable lesson I learned as a DB, really short term memory. I used to be in my head a lot. Um, I'm a person that's tried like I really try to chase perfection, and I just hate losing. I hate losing, but I understand sometimes you're gonna lose, and you can't let that get to you. Sometimes I would let plays get to me, but once I overcome that and got past that, that really helped me as a lot as a player. So basically, having short term memory about the bad stuff that happens, because you know that one play doesn't define who I am as a player. Like, so if I make a mistake, flush it, see why what happened for me to make that mistake, and be better next time.
Yeah, like we all learn from it. Like you said, you had to change up a little more. You had to adapt at certain stuff, and sometimes it's challenging. So
Hmm.
so all those years in college, man, what do you take away from going into the NFL that you need to improve on the most?
Thing that I would feel like I need to improve on the most going into the league would probably be my blitzing. Like, I want to be more of a better blitzer, if I'm being honest. Um, Obviously, I had the opportunity to do that more when I was playing in the box. So just trying to really set up my blitz pass better. I felt like there was times where if I just because football is a game of inches, so I felt like in certain situations when I'm blitzing, if I would have just like set myself up better, or like I could have made the certain move, I could have really had more plays for me to make. I would have made more plays. So I just want to work. I probably say my blitzing. I want to work more on that. And I'm sure there's other things to work on, because as a player, there's always something for you to work on. No matter how small it is, there's always something that you can improve on. Even if you're a good tackler, well, what can make you even better tackler, where you don't miss a tackle, whatever the case may be. So that's how I like to look at things. There's always room for improvement, but I definitely say the biggest thing I want to improve on would be my blitzing. I would like to be more of a better blitzer off the edge and things like that.
Yeah, that's something you can definitely work on. I can see why you want to improve more as a blitzer. If they even utilize you more as a blitzer, I think you'd be very effective at that.
Hmm.
But speaking of it, so what's the plans before draft? What's the workout plans, and what teams are you going to meet up with in the coming weeks?
Right now, it's just this phase of the process is more so staying ready. That's all you can do right now. Just stay ready. I have my workout plans that my trainers have been sending me for the gym. I work out with one of my former teammates who's also in the league, so I go and do like my DB drills and all that stuff with like him and our trainer. So I'm just trying to keep myself ready for that. And the next coming of weeks is, it's surreal, because you just don't know where your opportunity is gonna take you. So I'm just looking forward to that, and whatever team that gives me that chance, the opportunity, I'm gonna be more than blessed and grateful, and I'm just gonna take advantage of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It would be kind of interesting if you played in Baltimore, just right down your backyard, man. What would it take to learn from a guy like Kyle Hamilton if you had the chance to learn from that guy?
It'll be awesome. He's shoot. I like the way the Ravens utilize him. I've seen him all over the field, and if I was had the chance to pick his brain and understand what he's seeing or what he's going through, that would be awesome. Like my dad's a huge Ravens fan. Work like he's a diehard Ravens fan. he would lose it if he saw me play for the Ravens. But if I had the opportunity to learn from a guy like him, I'd be picking his brain all the time, just trying to learn as much as I can. You know, when you see people doing what they're doing at a high level, there's no better feeling when you can actually learn from them, and that's what I try to do with people who I see doing it at the highest level that they can, especially in my position.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So it's gonna be worth the process, man. All that work for all those years in college, man. You're finally gonna live out the dream. So
Yes, sir.
definitely appreciate your time, bro. So whatever happens from here, man, I'm definitely rooting for you to succeed. Whatever team comes in general, if somehow you end up in the Bay, we got to make a second appearance, man. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm wishing you all the best of luck, man. I'm hoping that you have a great long NFL career and good
Thank you.
business
Thank
in
you.
general, man. But for those people, man, tell them where they can find your social media platform.
You can follow. Well, I have the same social media platform from Instagram and Twitter. Trinh _. You know, I'm all for the love and support, and I appreciate everybody who's out there supporting me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for everybody else, this is Villanova safety. Trinh, man, you better not sleep on this guy because he's gonna outwork you. He's gonna make you pay. And if the quarterback's gonna try to be a little bit too cute, he's gonna take the ball. But that's all I gotta say, man. So for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in, and we're out.
Thank you for having me.